Hello, everyone. It is now Preakness Week, and as of today, it's May the 12th, 2026. We're just a handful of days away from Preakness number 151. I'm CC Broaddus, and I'm joined by the chairman and CEO of FatBallGuyRacing.com, Dan Cronin. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thanks for having me as always. I'm excited about the week. We got deals going on and got so many different racetracks, and of course the whole thing with Laurel this year instead of Pimlico. But my fingers are crossed I can have another great day like we did last year on Preakness Day.
All right, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What's your favorite Preakness memory?
Last year.
Was
Only
it the one?
because only because I won so much money. I mean,
Okay.
I almost broke my fist when Retribution took the lead and that Wesley Ward was coming behind, and I knew I had a gigantic exacta. They were 9-1 and 10-1, and I had bet a lot of money on Retribution. I had pick fives for all the guys going that were paying 12,000 a ticket. I think we had it three or four times. So we just absolutely murdered that race. And then going into the Preakness last year, we just needed one of those horses to win, and journalism was obviously one of them to just absolutely fracture the entire day. So my worst memory is probably Street Sense and Curlin. I love Street Sense. I wanted him to win the Triple Crown. I had cashed a bunch on him in the Derby, and man, I thought he was home. I really did. I'm just sick to my stomach that he didn't get home.
Right.
I guess Rachel Alexander was a great one. You know, uh,
A Fleet Alex.
well,
Ne
I
Nearly
think I was
falling
still,
down.
I think I was still mad at him because he cost me about 60,000 in the Derby. Because we caught that unbelievable long shot in the grass before, me and my buddy, and we were down there and we were on the ground floor with all the normal people. We weren't up with the snobs. We were, and so everybody was rooting for us. We had Bellamy Road and a Fleet Alex in the pick fours and fives and all that. So we were going to cash a huge ticket. And man, I still can't believe a Fleet Alex lost the Derby. That was a
Right.
missed. All he needed was a normal, decent ride, and he wins. As soon
Well,
as he ducked inside.
he made up for it in the Preakness. But
Yeah, and
as you mentioned earlier, the Preakness Stakes will be run at Laurel this year. Hopefully, they will rebuild Pimlico. That's kind of up in the air, I think, still, even though they've said they're going to do that. But that's a story for another day. Dan, the I think we've confirmed that the Preakness this year will be finishing at the first wire
yes,
at Laurel, as that is the normal finish line. It's not like Keeneland where you have the second wire is the normal finish line, but at Laurel, the first wire, and it's still a long stretch, so I don't think it's that big. It's not necessarily like Keeneland. So, but once again, mile 3/16, $2 million. You can say what you want about this Preakness field. Yes, it's not grade one caliber like it normally is or in years past, but this is a tremendous handicapping puzzle, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. So let's uh, let's dive in. Unless you have anything else you want to add.
no, that's it. I think the stretch is 1,080 feet or something close to that. So, I mean, when you say short stretch, you're not misspeaking because they do have another one that's longer, but it's not necessarily, 800 feet or something. So, it's a normal stretch.
Right, right. Okay. All right. Here's the odds. We're going to show those on the board here, and 9-2 on number nine, Iron Honor for Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt. Also three co-second choices with Taj Mahal 5-1, Chip Honcho 5-1, Incredibolt at 5-1. Ocelli, the surprise third place finisher in the Derby a few weeks ago, is at 6-1. Let's talk about these horses one by one. We'll go to the rail. Taj Mahal, son of Nyquist, undefeated in three starts, all coming at Laurel, ironically. And you get Sheldon Russell, who normally rides for his wife, trainer Brittany Russell. Now, Dan, one of the things about this year's Preakness is there's a lot of horses that want to go, And I think Taj Mahal's hand is kind of forced here from the inside.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like this horse at all. I mean, if he wins, I will lose every bet. He will not be on any of my tickets. Yeah, he's undefeated. I'll give him that. He's a son of Nyquist. There's no telling how good he is. Um, that's the only question. I just don't know how good he is. I don't have a good grasp on him. And the speed of the race, the pace with no Lasix again. Remember, we got don't have Lasix. It's going to be very hard for him to keep going. I just don't see him being anywhere near it when they turn the bend and they all start coming. And so if he wins, I'm just going to be wrong. It happens. So I'll just be wrong. But I think he's one that's going to go early, inject pace, make sure that pace is 46 and change. And let's face it, look at his pace in his races 47 and 3, 48 and 1, 47 and 4. I mean, he's not that fast. So I just don't see, I don't even think he'll make the lead, but they may gun out of there and try.
All right, moving right along to number two, O'Selly, the son of Connect, trained by Whit Beckman, ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. And I'll tell you what, this horse looked like a winner as they reached the furlong pole. This horse ran out of his skull on Derby Day. Of course, he had that big pace to run into, and he kind of hit a wall when he got to the lead. But interesting that they bring him back off 2 weeks rest, and suddenly he looks good in this field.
Yeah, I can't believe that I like a maiden, but when you forget the fact he's a maiden and just look at his numbers progression and look at the history of Derby horses running back in the Preakness, they always do well. I mean, even Mind That Bird did well. I mean, let's face it, Mind That Bird got a bad trip in the Preakness, or he might have beat Rachel Alexander. That's how close that race really was. And she was a superstar. So I think Oselli, of all the horses in here, is probably the most likely winner. I was shocked when I saw the morning line. I I know people look at that maiden and just go, well, he's maiden, he's maiden. I get that, but he was also 60 yards from winning the Kentucky Derby. I mean, if you go back and just watch him in the Derby, he ran an incredible race. He was back there too. He weaved through too. He went flying around them a little bit early. Tyler moved just a hair early, and I don't blame him. He got to the lead, and two horses that are really good horses ran him down. So he ran a really good race in the wood. He's getting better every start. His numbers are getting better every start. And I love Whitworth Beckman. I think I love his name as much as I love his training ability. But I mean, that's one of the greatest names I've ever heard in my life. I mean, that's just screams I got a ton of money, doesn't it? Like he's got a butler that in a limo that drives him to the track. I can't imagine him in a barn. The servants would be in the barn. Uh, but we love Tyler. And I think the setup in this race is even going to be better than the Derby. So I think this horse, if you're betting tries, supers, exactas, if you don't have him in the top three, I think you're going to throw your tickets on the ground. He's going to hit the board. I don't know if he'll win because this is a tough race, but if I get 6-1, this will be who I bet on.
Yeah, he's really only a handful of horses that want to come from behind. Now I will push back a little bit. I didn't want him in the Derby at 70-1. I didn't want him in the Wood Memorial at 28-1. I didn't like him at in Virginia at 7-1. I'm not certain that I want him in here at 6-1, but I mean the race does set up for him, and he does look like he's coming to hand. And like you said, a lot of Derby starters usually run their race in the Preakness. So interesting to see what happens with O'Selly. Number three is Kruper, son of Candy Ride for Donnie Von Hamel. That's an old school name in the Midwest. Horse just recently won the Bathhouse Row Stakes in his first stakes try at Oaklawn Park and earned an automatic bid into this race. Junior Alvarado will take the mount once again for this guy, and you know another one that wants to be close to the pace. He was on the lead in that Bathhouse Row Stakes, so maybe trying to go against the grain here with Crouper.
Yeah, I bet against all Oaklawn horses at Churchill, so I'm certainly not going to take one in the Preakness. Uh, he's going to inject pace. I'll give him that. He's going to go. He's on the inside. He's going to go. He's going to be in that first flight, and from there, it would be a shock to me if he was around in the lane. I think he's going to be one of them horses that the closers are trying to get around as they turn the bend. Uh, so it would be a shock if he was in it to me.
Number 4 is Robusta, son of Accelerate for Calumet Farm trainer Doug O'Neill. Calumet Farm has had some success in this race. They campaigned Oxbow with D. Wayne Lucas several years ago. Robusta 1 for 6 lifetime, 14th in the Kentucky Derby. However, he does have one race on his resume that would factor in here when he was second at 67 to 1 behind Potente in the San Felipe, where he had the lead late in the stretch. So, uh, you know, if you're a long shot puncher, this horse might have a shot. If he runs his race, it's interesting that they wheeled him back after a poor effort in the Derby.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised Dougie ran this horse back. So, but he's got the one race. And if you're looking for long shots, you've got to dig in and try to find a reason. And that is your reason. He's got the one number, the one race that he could be in the midst of it when they turn for home, and then it's on the horse and he's going to be a monster price, I would assume. And I mean, he will be up there early, like a lot of them. He's probably faster than Crouper. He might even be faster than the rail. So he could be on the lead. Uh, he did go, what is that, 46-3 in the San Felipe. So, I mean, there's a possibility that he could make the lead from that post if he breaks well. Um, I'm not one to take a horse like this, but I couldn't knock anybody that was trying to shoot for the moon and take this horse.
Veteran rider Rafael Bejarano will take the mount on Robusta. Number 5, a horse I'm kind of interested in is Talking, son of Good Magic for Danny Gargan. Rad Ortiz will take the mount. Dan, I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know if you've heard any scuttle about the rail on Bluegrass Stakes Day at Keeneland, but there's at least one service that thought that the rail was dead. And Talking kind of raced on the rail most of the way around in that Bluegrass Stakes. He tipped to the outside and eventually went up third. He's had 6 weeks since his last start. And then at Keeneland over the weekend, Danny Gargan said he had his best workout ever over that surface. So, Talking comes in. He'll be a long shot in here, but I think he's not without a chance. Plus, again, he's one of those horses that will be closing at the end.
Yeah, he'd be in my top three. Everything you said, and then the one thing you left out, he's got Irad Ortiz. And if he's got Irad Ortiz, he's got a chance. I mean, has there ever been a horse in a race that he's ridden that doesn't have a chance? I mean, he probably could have ridden 6 or 7 horses in here, and they chose this one. And Gargan's a solid trainer. He's third off the layoff. He's only had 2 starts since December. The Tampa Derby wasn't that bad. He only got beat 5 lengths. The Bluegrass wasn't that bad. And if the thing about the rail is true, and I don't know that, I just think he's got the right running style. He's going to be in that second flight. I don't think he'll be way, way back, but he's got Irad. He's got a good solid post. If he's sitting in that sixth, seventh area when they turn for home, he'll give him every chance. And those workout patterns are really, I mean, if you don't know anything else about this horse, that workout pattern, the last 3 works, is absolutely outstanding. You can't ask for anything better coming into a race than those last 3 works. So, I don't know if I like him better than Ocelli, but I'm going to take a few of them in here in my pick 4s and 5s and stuff. He'll be one of them. I'm not getting beat by Irad Ortiz at the Preakness. I'm just not.
This horse looks like Tarzan. but to date he's run like Jane. So we'll need him to step his game up. But I'm like you. I think he's got a shot in here. Number 6 is Chip Honcho, last seen fifth in the Louisiana Derby, beating 11 lengths. Prior to that, though, ran the early Kentucky Derby favorite Paladin to just a half a length in the mile and eighth Risen Star Stakes. Steve Asmussen trains Jose Ortiz, winner of the Kentucky Derby aboard Golden Tempo, takes the mount. The only issue with this horse is he's another one of those that really probably needs the lead to do his best.
Yeah, I agree. He needs the lead and he's not going to get it. I mean, Jose's great out of the gate though, so I guess we can't just say he can't get it. He's quicker than the rail. I think Banjo's horse is probably a little quicker, but you know, Jose's an X factor. I mean, he is one of the best gate riders on the planet. He is, I mean, he's one of the best riders, period, as we've seen. And he's hotter than a firecracker right now. The thing that makes me nervous is the Steve Asmussen's barn with the upper echelon horses, at least for me, has just not been the same the last year or two. And I don't know why. He doesn't seem to be winning the graded stakes races like he used to. And I mean, he used to be whoever he put in the sprint in any of these sprints, he would win almost every sprint. He had so many great sprinters. I don't know about this horse. Man, it really pains me to throw Jose out, but if I'm only going to use three horses, and I think I'm only going to use three, I just can't get to him with three horses. If I use four, five, or six of them, if you were spreading out at the end of a pick five or something and you just didn't want to blow it, then I could see it because it's Jose. So I'm kind of on the fence on this one, but he'd be in that fourth, fifth, or sixth horse I would use.
My problem with this horse is I just don't see him winning this race any other way than on the lead. I
Right.
mean,
He's not
it's
going to stalk. I
and
don't
I
think.
don't want him at 5 to 1 at
Well,
as one of the favorites. I just don't want it. I feel like if he's gonna win this race, he's gonna have to try something new,
right.
and I don't see it. So yeah, for me he's a pass at 5 to 1. Number 7, as we get halfway through the field, the hell we did. A son of authentic, trained by Todd Fincher, ridden by Louis Saez, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 4 starts. And you want to talk about pedigree? This mare, the mother of the hell we did, has produced 7 starters, 7 winners. 6 of the 7 starters are stakes winners, including Senor Buscador, who won the Saudi Cup, a $20 million race. The only horse that this mare has produced that is not a stakes winner is the hell we did, and he stakes placed in 2 starts. Third start of the year. Honestly, I think this horse has a look at a big price.
Yeah, I mean, I like him better than those other speeds. And the rider fits him. I mean, we talked at length, and I got some flack for criticizing Saez, but I just, we all analyze races different, and I think Louis is great when he's on speed, when he's on horses that want to be forward, like this one, and in dirt races. So that's what we got here. He fits this horse. He ran great last time. Trendsetter didn't really come back and run great in the Peter Pan in a short field. Just kind of plotted around there. Um, so I don't know. I mean, if I used four, five, or six horses again, I'd probably put him in. If I was betting trifectas and supers, I'd probably use him underneath. I'm not going to use him on top to win the Preakness. I'm convinced as of right now that somebody from the back is going to win this race. No Lasix, no really high quality speed horses, too many of them. I think they're going to bunch on the turn, and I think somebody's going to explode home. And but could he hang on for second, third, or fourth? Yeah, he could.
So I'm not convinced that the horse needs the lead. I mean, he's obviously fast. He ran 6 furlongs in 108 at Sunland Park back in March. But I mean, he has the capability of stalking. He was 9 lengths behind a tearaway leader in that race and made up ground on him quickly. There's something about this horse. I think the connections are confident. I find it interesting that they decided to go to the Preakness off of that second place finish in the Lexington. Third off the layoff. Fincher wins a lot at Sunland. He is 33% third off the layoff. In his last 97 starts, that's a pretty good sample size. So, but he is prolific at Sunland. So I don't know if that's saying much. The May 9th workout, 101 and 2/5 at Laurel. I think he had to abort the workout early because there was a loose horse on the track. So that the connections kind of feel like that race, that workout could have been a little bit faster. So, to me, he's got all the goods. At 15 to 1, I hesitate to leave him out. I think this horse has tremendous upside. So, the hell we did will be on all my tickets. Number 8, Bull by the Horns, last seen in March, winning the Rushaway Stakes for Saffie Joseph. Micah Husbands retakes the mount. John Velasquez rode this horse in the Rushaway Stakes. Yeah, Bull by the Horns, 2 wins and 5 starts with over $180,000 in earnings. A son of Essential Quality, winner of the Belmont Stakes.
Boy, he looks 50 to 1 to me on paper, but he looks like one of those 50 to 1s that I could throw into a try or super because he's going to close. Could he come plodding in there and be third or fourth? It's happened many, many, many times when his pace has break down. So you're going to have a young kid that's going to ride his butt off for Saffie, and Saffie's always got him ready. You can't question that. So, could I use him underneath in tries or supers? Yeah, I could throw him in a little bit.
Number 9, Iron Honor, the morning line favorite, son of Nyquist for Chad Brown. Flavian Pratt will be aboard this time. Manny Franco had ridden the horse in his first 3 starts. Pros and cons with this horse. Chad Brown's won 2 Preaknesses with cloud computing and early voting after skipping the Derby. Of course, Iron Honor does that as well. Had a troubled trip in the Wood Memorial, and he was part of a pace that really melted down in the stretch. The negatives here are that he's got declining speed figures as the races increase in distance. So, you know, uh, 9 to 2, I'm not crazy about taking him. I've got $20 on him at 19 to 1 in the future wager. That's the only bet in the future wager I've got with him. So I probably don't have to use him here. But there's pluses and minuses with this horse going into this year's Preakness.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you like him, 5 to 1 or so is a solid price. But if you don't really like him and you're just kind of using him, I suggest throw his ass out. Um, why use a horse at 4 to 1 in this race if you don't like him? I don't like him. I mean, I'm all about rising numbers. I don't want numbers going that way. And like you said, every time they get longer, he runs slower. And if Chad thought this horse was that good, this horse would have not run in the Gotham and would not have run in the Wood. He would have run in the Bluegrass or the Florida Derby or one of those where he knew he had a real chance to win the Kentucky Derby. I don't, I mean, if this horse wins, I'm just going to lose. It's okay. It's a tough race. Um, the first speed number puts him right on the wire. The last speed number puts him as a horribly overbet favorite. So I'm going to go with the last one and think that I don't think this horse wants any part of this distance. And Pratt's going to shove him early. He's not going to take this horse back. Pratt loves to shove early. He's going to shove this horse up into contention. He's going to be in that first 4, 5, 6 horses. And, he's going to have to be really good with no Lasix to keep going. And I just don't see it. I think he's going to stop. And there's going to be a lot of them stopping, I think.
Speaking of another horse that wants to be on or near the lead, number 10, Napoleon Solo for Chad Summers. Paco Lopez takes the mount. Dan, I think this horse, I don't think we've seen the best of him in his 2 starts this year. Allegedly had some feet issues going into the Wood Memorial. Chad Summers says those issues are behind him. So, this horse ran one of the best races of 2025, winning the Champagne easily. Maybe he gets back to that big effort in the Champagne, but he's going to have to be on or near the lead again on a potentially hot pace to do it.
He's the only speed horse that I'm really nervous to leave out because, like you said, we don't know yet if we've seen the bottom of him. Paco's probably, of all the riders, going to be absolutely determined to get to the lead. I will be shocked if he doesn't send and send and send to try to get to that lead on the first turn. If he stalks, he can't win, I don't think. But if he makes the lead with Paco Lopez and you got six speed horses behind you that can't pass you, the only way that he gets beat is if he stops. And he's probably going to stop, but I'm really nervous he's not going to stop. And this is the only, and I'm not taking him. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking him, but I'm really nervous about leaving him out. If I went to a fourth horse, and I've said that a few times now, 4, 5, 6, he would probably be four. There's three or four speed horses that are all in that. If I took one of them, I think of all of them, this is the one. If you wanted to expand your ticket, this is the one I would take if I took one. But as of right now, unless there's some scratches, I am not planning on taking any speed horses. But I would take him way before I would take the one, way before. So to put him in that kind of category.
And yet another speed horse, number 11, Corona de Oro for Dallas Stewart. John Velasquez takes the mount, last seen finishing third in the Lexington Stakes, finishing three-quarters of a length behind. The hell we did. Now, Dallas Stewart is no stranger to getting long shots on the board in these Triple Crown races. I remember 2015, he got Tail of Verve to finish second behind American Pharaoh, a horse that looked absolutely impossible on paper. Corona de Oro likely wants to be a part of that early vanguard as well. So, another one that is up against it.
Yeah, I'm still mad at this horse too because I bet on him in the Lexington and he got the perfect trip. He had no excuse and had nothing for him in the lane in a field that was just, nah. I mean, the field wasn't great. I don't like this horse at all. I think he probably run last. He'll run for a furlong and that'll be it, and he'll be done. I mean, that's as much as I think he's got any chance right there.
I think this horse actually has some upside, but maybe down the road. He's shown that he's got some quality, but this might be a bridge too far this early in his career.
Yep. I'd
Number
run him in Ohio Derby.
number 12 is Incredibolt, 5-1 on the morning line for Riley Mott. Jaime Torres once again will ride. He's ridden the horse in all of his starts, and a late addition to the field. And one of the horses that was actually finishing in the Kentucky Derby, and a horse that really had some good workouts leading up to the race. I think this horse, I said Corona d'Oro has a bright future. I think Incredible has a really bright future. The question for me is he better going long, or is he maybe more of a one-turn miler? But regardless, I think this horse is in great shape, and I don't think Riley Mott's going to run this horse in the Preakness if he didn't think he had a big shot. So interested to hear your thoughts on this horse.
Okay, well, I don't love the price, but I do think he's one of the few that can win the race. If he runs his best race, I think he can win. The pace is perfect for him. He ran sneaky good in the Derby. If you go back and just focus on him, he got bounced around a little bit at the start, was a little further back than he wanted to be. He was behind a wall of horses on the turn as everybody was making their move, and he couldn't make his move yet. Then he finally got loose to make his move. Then he got bumped by Renegade. I mean, he ran a little better than it looks. So, with that in mind, I'm taking closers. He's one of the three I will take.
Yeah, I agree. He'll be on all my tickets as well. And I think, like I said, I think this is not the best Preakness field in the world. So he doesn't have to reach his ceiling just yet to be a factor in here, and the race absolutely sets up for him. So I think he's one of the ones. All right, number 13, horse that's infamous, I guess you could say. He was going in the gate for the Derby and he flipped and had to be scratched. Great White, 15-1 for John Ennis. Alex Ashar will get the mount here. Last seen another horse that supposedly rode that dead rail on Bluegrass Stakes Day, and he finished far back. But prior to that, a horse that really got good in February, and made some noise on the Triple Crown Trail. So, but the bad news is he's another horse that really does his best running on or near the lead. So, Great White probably a fringe contender, and I don't really love that 13 hole for this big son of Volatile.
Yeah, if I was the jockey agent or the owner of this horse, I would tell a chard to take this horse back. From the 13 hole, if he sends him forward, he has zero chance. Zero. He'll get hung wide. He'll be done at the half-mile pole. But from the 13 hole, if he just takes him back, there's so much speed in here that he could make one run. I understand that he's probably better up front, but he broke his maiden from the back. The John Battaglia, he sat third and win. I mean, I think to hit the board, and he's going to be a monster price. And you got to look for monster prices in the tries and supers. If I could just get to a shard and say, please take him back, you could run third or fourth doing that. If you send forward, you're going to run last. Just my opinion. I would tell Ennis that. I would tell Three Chimneys that. If your goal is to hit the board in the Preakness, you've got to take him back. With that in mind, I would put him third or fourth in my tries and supers because, again, I'm eliminating most of the speed. I'm looking for some plotters to just come in there third. He could be a tail of the verb type of horse. I probably not, but that's why you're going to get a monster price.
All right, and on the far outside, number 14, Pretty Boy Mia, or maybe it's Maya. I'm not really sure. I guess I need to go back and watch the replays, but surprisingly 15-1. I thought that was kind of low for this horse, although he does have some nice speed figures coming in off of the maiden and the optional claiming victories at Aqueduct. He's never been farther than a mile, and another horse that wants to be forwardly placed, and he draws the parking lot. So, I think he's up against it. What do you think?
Well, it's funny you said 15-1, right?
Yes.
Um, I always laugh at the what I perceive as the bias of different morning line guys because this is my job to study all this and study these guys and I knew he was going to make this horse too low. I knew it because he's from New York. He's a New York guy. He does New York racing. He's focused on New York. So as soon as I saw the New York horse, I said, well, instead of 30-1 where he belongs, he's going to make him about 15-1. That's just him. I mean, I'm not saying he ain't good at what he does, but when he does these national races, he always puts the New York horses lower, and that's why Iron Honor's so low. I knew he would probably make him favorite because he's a New York horse. So this horse to me is a complete throwout. I wouldn't consider him in any bet. If he hits the board, I'm just going to lose. So with that in mind, I think this is a 3, maybe 4 horse race. I think it's Ocelli would be one of the main one. Talkin would be kind of a long shot that I would put in some tickets. Napoleon Solo would be if you really wanted to take a speed horse, and Incredible would be in my order would be Ocelli, Incredible, Talkin, Napoleon Solo if you wanted to go to a 4th horse. But as you can tell, I'm taking 3 closers. That's the way I think this race is going to go. I'm still kicking myself for not taking Cherie in the Derby. I took closers. I took Further Ado, and then I took 3 closers, and I missed it. And Golden Tempo would have been in that next I mean, he was the next group of horses, and you could see it on the sheet. I kept moving him up every day, and I kept as I saw him work, and I knew the rumors about his feet were a bunch of horse shit. You know, I kept moving it up, moving him up, moving him up, and I just didn't get him up into the ticket. My big mistake, CC, was when Puma got scratched. I should have just took Puma out, put tempo in, and I didn't do it. I just cut my ticket down by one horse, and it cost me. But the Japanese horse cost everybody most of their tickets anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. I had a bunch of good straight bets that day, so I'm hoping that I can get this pick 4 or 5 into these 3 horses. And if I hit early in the day, maybe I'll add Napoleon Solo, or if there's a scratch or two, maybe. But I'm thinking this is going to be a meltdown, and one of these 3 are going to come running. And I love the price of the horse that you mentioned. Uh,
Talking.
Talking, yeah. So I think you're going to get every bit of double digits for sure, probably in that 15-1 area, where Ocelli's probably going to be in that 5-1, 6-1, and I think Incredibolt's is going to be the same way. But I mean, you're talking, you don't know what they're going to play in the pick 4s and 5s. You know, they may play a lot bigger than that, because somebody's going to take money in here, and I think it's going to be Iron Honor. I think that horse is going to get bet down to a 3-1 area, and that's really why I don't want him. I just if Ocelli opens up 5-2, I'm going to be mad. But if he stays 6-1, I'm going to bet straight on him, and that's probably nuts because he's a maiden. But I love Derby horses that come back into Preakness that are rising figures. Journalism did it last year. He ran a really nice race in the Derby. He came back and ran a great race in the Preakness. I think Ocelli's getting better. Whitworth Beckman is one of my favorite trainers. Tyler's one of my favorite riders. If I own this horse, I would be really, really excited for this race.
As for me, I think I'm going to go. I can't resist, and the hell we did. Half brother to Senior Buscador, who could run all day, and I think this horse doesn't have to be on the lead. And I think there's some upside to this guy as well. So and the price is going to be perfect, 15-1. I think that fits into a T. Uh, Incredibolt would be my second selection, a horse that I think is on the improve, and another that will relish a fast tempo and one that will be closing late. And it's interesting that Bill Mott, right after the Derby, said, nobody ever talks about the Preakness, yet his son, decides to wheel back in 2 weeks with Incredibolt, and then finally Talking, a horse that we'll give some credence to that dead rail theory on Bluegrass Stakes Day. And I think this horse has some upside. He looks like a horse that he's beautiful. He's a very beautiful horse. I think he's got a shot to improve here, and he'll be a big price as well. So, yeah, for me, the hell we did, Incredibolt and Talking. Okay,
So
that wraps up. I'm sorry?
we're close. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Yeah, I in a race that like the Derby fell apart. Why can't the Preakness fall apart? So, I just think if the speed figures are kind of light for a grade one, maybe you need to start looking for some long shots. That's how I feel. But anyway, tell us who you like in the comments below. Remind you to like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll be watching this Preakness with great interest. Hopefully, we'll have some tickets alive to some of our long shots or some of our top picks in the Preakness. So, on behalf of Dan Cronin of FatBallGuyRacing.com, I'm CC Broaddus. Good luck, everybody. Have a great weekend.